Hello TL Travelers and welcome back to the TL Travel YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome to the family. Right now I am sharing some tips and tricks and travel planning hacks, story times, all of that fun stuff for a backpacking trip through South America. In my last video, I talked to you guys a little bit about the Atacama Desert in Chile, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about booking your Uyuni Salt Flats tour from San Pedro to Bolivia, or vice versa if you choose to do it in reverse order. So if you are planning a trip to South America and the Salt Flats are on your bucket list, I would definitely recommend sticking around to watch this video and also hopping back to see some of our others. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We post new travel content every Thursday and Sunday, and right now we are right in the middle of our South America travel series. And yeah, that's really it. So let's just jump into some tips for your Salt Flats tour. So the Uyuni Salt Flats are the world's largest salt flats. I know that you guys have probably seen the pictures plastered everywhere for everyone's bucket list. The best way, in my opinion, to see these flats is to do a full crossing, either by a 3 or a 4 day tour. There are also day trips available if you are on a tight schedule, but you definitely don't get to go deep into the flats and explore in the same type of way. And honestly, they really are so far off the beaten path that if you've made the effort to go all that way, it really is worth it to do everything that you can to do the full crossing if possible. So 3 or 4 day tour, we decided that we were going to do the 3 day tour to get ourselves across the flats, just for not only for timing purposes, but for the price. And with the company that we were booking with at the time, that sort of seemed to be what they had the most available spots in the vehicles. So let's just jump right into how to pick a tour and questions that you need to ask your driver when you're negotiating your price. So the first question that you're going to want to ask is how many people are in your car. Typically, unless you decide to pay the rate to have the vehicle all to yourself, you are going to be put in a group with multiple other travelers, usually a group of 6 plus your driver, to get you across the flats. We also asked if we could see the vehicle before we signed up, and there did happen to be a vehicle there for us to take a look at. So that was able to give us like a good idea of how much space we would have in the vehicle, not only for our things, but just like being side by side with other people. You never really know who is going to get sick and who's not going to get sick. No one in our group thankfully did get sick, but it was just something that we had on our mind. And although none of these vehicles are going to be very spacious, we definitely did find that like we were never really all that uncomfortable in the type of vehicle that we ended up in. And just like having seen it beforehand gave us the chance to, I guess, like mentally prepare for the journey and know what we were getting into instead of being surprised when we arrived. So that was super helpful, just knowing how many people were going to be in our vehicle with us and what the vehicle size looked like. The second question that you're going to want to ask is if your driver speaks English or some English. Now, I know that a lot of people, that's not really something that they care about, but you are spending a great deal of time with this person who is driving you across the flats, you and your group. Our driver spoke a little bit of English and mostly Spanish. We did have 2 travelers in our vehicle with us who spoke fluent in both, so they were able to kind of bridge the gap when there was some confusion. But I did find that having a little bit of English speaking helped when it came to just sort of like information on what time we were leaving in the morning, when we were going to be stopping to, you know, maybe be able to go to the bathroom, things like that. Very helpful. Now, the third thing that you are going to want to ask about obviously is price. And when it all comes down to it, all of these vehicles and all these tours, essentially, they're doing the same route. So the tour itself isn't necessarily going to change, but you are able to negotiate prices based on a couple of different things. For example, if you have a fluent English speaking driver, that's something that might be a little bit more expensive. And also, if you are able to show up with a group of 6 already put together, they may be more likely to give you a group discount versus if you are 2 people looking to hop in on, you know, like a random car. So asking all of these questions up front and then using those to negotiate a price is really, really helpful. We paid somewhere between $100 and $150 US per person for the 3-day trip across from Chile to Bolivia, and that did not include a $22 per person entrance fee to the salt flats, so that's something to keep in mind. Also, you might want to ask if that is included or not included in the price of your trip. I did decide to hop online right before I filmed this and just like get a sense of if those prices are still pretty accurate, and from what I could find, yes, $100 to $150 is pretty standard for the 3-day trip. And if I can find the tour company that we went with that we really enjoyed, I will be sure to link it down below. I know that with our group, we were so excited to stop and take those typical like salt flat photos that you see with like the perspective, like the size perspective, and our tour operator stopped in the perfect place for us to take those photos, and he was a lot of fun and like really having a lot of fun with it. Whereas we did meet a lot of other travelers who had gone with different tour companies or different drivers who said that their driver never really like offered to stop anywhere extra and didn't really like do anything fun like that with them. So it isn't necessarily a given that that's just gonna like be part of your tour. So we really enjoyed the guide that we went, and again, I will link them down below. Before I take off though, I did also want to just give you guys a little bit of insight into things that you might want to have on hand for your trip across the salt flats. This is something that you also want to think about, especially like if you're on a big 6-month journey like we were. We really had to think ahead to all the different types of things that we were going to want to do and all the different types of things that we would need to pack for like all the different seasons and activities that we were doing. So for the salt flats, you definitely want to keep in mind, like at night it does get pretty cold, so you want to be able to have some warmer layers that can come on and off throughout the day, and that you can like a sweater maybe to sleep in that isn't going to be too bulky, things like that that you can layer on and off. You're also going to want waterproof shoes. Like honestly, sandals or flip-flops also are fine. They don't need to be like boots, but just something that if it is raining and you need to get out into the like semi-flooded grounds, you're not going to be like in wet shoes for the duration of your journey, because things don't really dry quite as quickly. We came to notice, you know, when you get soaked out on the flats. You also want to make sure that you are packing for easy access, because you are on the road and you are sort of like in and out really quickly from these ice hotels type accommodations. You don't want to be pulling all of your stuff out to try and access the things that you need. So pack on top just the things that you know you're going to need for your journey, so they're super easily accessible. Drink the coca tea. You want to make sure that you have something on hand for altitude sickness. Again, we didn't end up getting sick at all, but we were drinking the tea and just like remaining cognizant of the fact that it was possible. And last but not least, you want to make sure that you have some cash on hand. You're not going to be anywhere where you're going to be rolling up to an ATM. So if there's things like food or drinks or whatever that you're going to want to buy along the way, tips, etc., those things you're going to need cash for. And really that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. If you have done this journey before and you can think of anything that I've missed, be sure to leave it in the comments down below so that we can all learn and share and explore together. And in the next video, I'm actually going to tell you guys a little bit of a salt flats fail. We did stumble across someone who was pretty lost, in pretty dire need of assistance on the flats, traveling solo. I'm going to give you guys all of the story time surrounding that, and how he got into that situation and how he got out, risks and all of those fun things. Yeah, in the next story. So be sure to stick around for that. Hit that like and subscribe button. And until I see you guys in my next video, stay great, stay safe, and I will see you then.